Yay, we're here. We're live. I think we're getting up and started on Instagram. Let me move you guys back a little bit. Hello and welcome. I'm going to turn down my light a little. We're getting a little bit of glare. How are you guys? It has been a minute. It's been a minute. Very, very happy to be here. It is Friday. I always go live on Fridays at 1 p.m. Central, always in quotes because I've taken a little bit of a hiatus over the past few weeks, but I am back. Super happy to be here. It's raining today. Houston's been crazy, y'all. Like usually we get a lot of rain later in the season, hurricane season, not fun. But it's been like every other day. It just rains and rains, but what are you going to do? I'll take it. It's warm. It's humid. It's fine. It's so good to see you guys. Chat me in the comments. Let me know who you are, where you are. Today's topic is pandemic weight gain. Sexy topic, I know. I don't have another way to describe it. I mean, these pandemic pounds are real for a lot of us. So we're not going to talk about weight gain or weight loss. I mean, like the body is what the body is, right? But I did, this has like been on my heart and in my own head. And so this live is as much for me as it is for you. So I did just want to come on and kind of talk about like, we're seeing people again. There's some anxiety related to that, right? Of like, people have only seen like your little Zoom screen or you at like, grocery curbside, maybe, for like a long time. I know some of us have been going, into work, into offices the whole time. But for a lot of folks, like that just wasn't the case, right? It's all work from home. And now it's like barbecues and birthday parties and 4th of July celebrations and all this stuff where it's like, your real actual person is going to be in front of other people. And if you gained weight or your body looks different, or even if you haven't gained weight, for a lot of folks, like people have been reaching out to me so much. My one-to-one clients, like new clients, I think I have like 7 or 8 new clients this month. People are just literally like, I don't know how to leave the house in clothes anymore. Like what I was wearing was fine for like pandemic life and Zoom life. And now that I'm going outside and it's hotter, like people are like, I literally don't understand how to clothe myself. And they're like, I wonder if I ever did. Like maybe I didn't. So we're going to be talking a lot about just like what that's like. And I'm going to be sharing some super concrete tips to help us out with like being able to go back out into the world with body confidence. Some of the like mindset hacks that I personally use when I'm not feeling like a-okay about homegirl on any given day. But we're going to tailor them for this like pandemic context, right? If y'all hear some running around, there's 2 kittens. My sister just keeps bringing kittens home. Now there's a lot happening. But if you hear that, that's what that is. They're adorable. Don't get me wrong. All right, so let's talk about it. First of all, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. Have you put on any pandemic pounds? What's the situation? Like I said, for certain people, they've been reaching out to me and wanting to schedule time with me one-on-one to get them right this summer. They're saying like, even if they haven't put on weight, their closet is just like dusty and uncreative, right? Like whatever we've been wearing for the past year, you look at it now and you're like, oh God, like, I don't want to put that back on. So, whether or not weight gain for you has been a thing during this panini, y'all, what a noise. It's like, I feel like it's like if you have kids. I don't have kids, but from what I understand, they only act up when you get on the phone or when you're trying to like do something. That's what's happening in my home. I digress. Yes, pandemic pounds. Thank you. See, in the comments, someone was like, it's a thing, right? So let's get into it. One, I think the first thing that we have to start like remembering, I was just talking about this to someone yesterday, like July, I can't believe it's July. How did July happen? It was May, and before that it was March. I mean, things just have been spiraling. So this year has gone by so quickly, like so quickly. I cannot believe it's July already. But I think with that, all of a sudden we're just like back outside. And I think with that, there's this pressure, almost like an invisible pressure or context where we're not giving ourselves credit for having made it through like 16 to 18 months of living in the middle of a panorama / pandemic, right? So like we feel this pressure to just like get out there and like look our best and do all the things. And I think even if we consciously know that we're kind of resisting this back to normal, right? Because like what is normal after all this? I do still think there's this pressure we feel to just like get dressed and look fabulous and be ourselves and all of that. And it's like, I think that we actually have to tap into the fact that like this pandemic has changed us, right? Like it has fundamentally changed a lot of things about us, whether that's, you know, what we're wearing, who we're seeing, how we feel about work, how we feel about a return to work. And so I think just like starting from that place and just like knowing that it is like a-okay if you're feeling different, right? If things are feeling different or things are feeling a little bit different than they used to, like just start there. The second thing is, if you have gained these pandemic pounds, as I have, can we just start from a place of gratitude? Like this body kept you literally alive for the past year and a half. Like skinny jeans don't fit, who cares? Like you're still here, not everyone is. Like it's serious, right? So I think just like starting from that place every morning of like, I'm still here. This body kept me alive. Maybe she got a little fluffier. Maybe she needed to do that, right? And so just trying to work through some of the gratitude around like just still being here and your body doing its absolute best that she could for the past 18 months. And that might sound like corny or hokey, but like I really do try and ground myself in that when like I start looking at like the roles and the this and the that. And it's like, listen, there are a lot of other problems that one could have. And like going up a size in my jean shorts should not be one of them, right? So easier said than done some mornings. Like I totally get that. But I just want us to really like be in this place of gratitude about like the body that you have, what she has done for you, how she has served you over the past 18 months, kept you here, kept you mostly sane, and just like start there. So from there, I'm going to get into a little bit of story time. So I'm going to New York in a couple of weeks. I lived in New York for 14 years. I lived in New York for a very long time, pretty much right out of grad school up until I moved to Houston about 3 years ago. New York was my home, right? Like New York was everything. I didn't actually know if I would ever leave. And I ended up leaving just like the hustle and all that after I started my business. I had a previous career in public education consulting. And when I started my styling business, I was traveling a ton and all of that made sense for New York, right? Like I'd be gone like 20 days a month and people were like, yeah, I mean, like that's just what you do. You know, it's always hustle, hustle, hustle. And I started to feel just like super burnt out and was like, I didn't become an entrepreneur to continue to work like 70-hour weeks, right? Like, and to do all that stuff I had been doing. And so wanted to find something warmer. The polar vortexes were getting to me, slower pace, still a big city, et cetera, et cetera. So Houston made sense. So with that, I've been in New York, back to New York probably like 2 or 3 times since I left. And I find myself in a position now where I'm going back to New York at the end of this month, and I will be going back to the city probably 50 to 60 pounds heavier than I was when I left. Is that math accurate? It might be 70, Lord. I don't, let's not count, right? It's just a lot more of me, okay? There's a lot more Brandeis to go around. And so what's interesting is like anywhere else that I go, not that I've been doing a ton of traveling, right, the past like year or so, but I feel fine, right? Like me and my body in Houston, I'm like, you know, it is what it is. I know how to dress myself. Like I don't love what I'm seeing like every day, but I work through it and I work through it with gratitude and just kind of keep it moving. And when I thought about going back to New York, I got really triggered. And, you know, I think a lot of that is New York is a skinny city. Like it just is. People are, you know, it's the home, right, of like, you know, $40 trampoline yo-yo yoga classes, right? Like there's just always something going on that is like, how do I get myself smaller? And when I lived in New York, I was a very thin privileged person, you know, for like pretty much my entire time there, right? Just like wore my little size 4 whatevers and was like, yeah, like it's great. And so I find myself now preparing to go back to this city being much, much heavier than I was and like feeling some type of way about it. And so I'm trying to figure out like, what is that, right? Like, why is it that like on any given day, I feel like, you know, I'm working through my own stuff here, but like I look good, I feel good, I look good. I'm gonna say it twice, you should too. But like the thought of going to this city where things are very, very, there's just like an aesthetic to it, right? Bigger is not better in that city. And so I'm having my own sort of like body anxiety around showing up there. And that was a surprise to me. Like, I didn't think that I would experience that. And so I share that just to say, like, wherever you are in your journey, there might be things as we start to outside again that are triggering for you, right? It might be seeing a specific person who always comments on your weight. It might be seeing people you just haven't seen before in a while. A friend of mine was saying, even just like aging, right? Like you're literally a year older, and like seeing people where like they just like haven't seen like your face in person, with like maybe the extra, laugh line or smile, whatever it is. We all have these little things where getting back in front of people is going to be like a whoa moment potentially. So y'all know, like I preach from the style pulpit a lot, but I always come at you with like solid concrete tips. And so we're going to get into like, well, what are some of the ways that you can still like flex that body confidence, even in situations that feel a little bit like, ooh, what are we going to do? So number one, first I want y'all actually just tell me like in the comments, like how much of this resonates. Are there any social situations that you've been in recently where you're like, ooh, okay, got to get dressed. Like, what's this going to be like? Or you're seeing people again. Like, I would just love to hear from you and know like what's been going on in your world. And if there's anything in particular you have coming up where like, if you want some style help, you can always reach out, join my Facebook group. If you're not in it, Style for Smart Cookies. We have a ton of fun in there. You can post questions. We're all like super helpful in there. And you can always do that. Side note too, I have a program coming out that I'm launching next week. It's called Getting Dressed Again, How to Find Your Signature Style in the Late Stages of a Pandemic. Sexy title again. But it really truly is all about helping women get dressed again, right? So the sense of we're not who we were, maybe the closet isn't where it needs to be. It's gonna be like super, super practical tips. A lot of my methodology around like body shape and fit, and the way that I do that, that folks find really helpful and effective. It's a 4-week program. You're going to get so much knowledge and education out of it, and both for how to dress yourself now, but also beyond, right? There will be a day where we're like past this panini, but like just really thinking through, your body shape, how to edit your closet when we don't actually know what the next 6 months will look like, right? Really thinking about like how to put outfits together. If you're shopping and you've gained weight, like you don't want to replace maybe everything, so like what are some of the ways that you can understand like what to replace and what to leave or what to keep, how to get more versatility out of your wardrobe. Like y'all, it's going to be the best thing ever. It's called Getting Dressed Again. It's going to launch next week. If you want in on the ground floor, DM me in any of these platforms, just like literally just shoot me a message and be like, hey, when this launches, like send me the link. I want more information and I'll get back at you. All right, so comments. So yes, I'm back to seeing folks after 15 months of teaching online. That's a thing, right? Like we've been in these online streets with our Zoom filters showing like just what we want to show. And it's like, it's different, right? Someone else is saying, I'm headed to NYC on Sunday and want to feel cute. Yes, and you deserve to feel cute. You will feel cute. Most of it's up here. Plus just turned 50. You know what? Live your life. Live that 50-year-old life. I love it. I'm here for it. You're going to look fly. Okay, so what do we do when we're feeling like anxiety around like seeing people or just in general, right? When you've gained weight and you're not kind of sure how to put your best foot forward and you're in your head about it a lot. So my very, very top tip, and this goes for anyone, anywhere, anytime, when you're having like a low body confidence moment, is when you get dressed in the morning, look at your face first when you evaluate your outfit. So for so many of us, what happens is there's a zone on our body that we dislike. Let's just call it what it is. And we tend to magnify that part of the body like 150, 200% more than what it actually looks like to other people. And so like, raise your hand, don't be shy if you do this, right? Like say it's your midsection, you try on something, at your home, or if you're, back in stores, where does your eye go first? Right there. It's like literally the first place you look to evaluate how something fits. It's like, oh, but what's my stomach doing? Like, let me see, like, oh my God, how is it what, and you have to remember that's your own shit. That's you, right? And I'm not invalidating it, right? Like I have those moments where I'm just like, dang girl, okay, this is what we doing today. But what I'm telling you is that is not where people look first. Okay. Especially if you understand body shape and fit in the way that I teach it. I always say like a muffin top is not a body shape. If you have a muffin top, it's because your pants are not the right fit and it's squeezing you in a place that is not conducive to having a smoother silhouette, right? So again, lots of stuff we could get into around like how to style yourself. Sign up for my course, look out for that, DM me if you want details. But the point here being, when people meet you, they go to your face. That's where the words are coming out. That's where your smile is. That's where, you know what I mean? So you have to do that for yourself. When you get dressed in the morning and you're evaluating this outfit and do I feel cute? How am I going to look, et cetera, et cetera? Look at your face first. Look her in the eye, smile, remind yourself that you are that girl. Thank you, Sha'Carri. So wrong, that whole situation, but I digress. So you got to put in like the mental work right off the bat before you start picking yourself apart, right? And you also have to think about that, like how much mental energy do you want to spend picking apart every part of your body before you leave the house? And how counterproductive is that to like having the start to the day that you want, right? So that is like my number one thing is when you get dressed and you're about to evaluate that outfit. Oh, these kittens, just now is the perfect time to play with the loud toys. Evaluate your outfit, but look at your face first, smile at her, congratulate her for getting up another day, be kind to her, and then try and take in the whole thing, right? You might make some adjustments, you might try something else on, but I promise you, if you can start from that mindset versus immediately zeroing into your thighs, your stomach, your whatever, you're going to be a lot better off. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is remember that you are your harshest critic, right? So I get there are people in the world who don't want to see us win. My advice, just cut those people out of your life if you can. But, my thing here is like a lot of us have this negative self-talk, which again, I understand. But what we end up doing is giving it voice to other people as a way of trying to deflect attention, right? So we do all this self-deprecating talk. So someone will say like, hey, you're seeing someone for the first time at barbecue, whatever. It's like, hey, oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. And they might say like, oh, you look great. And what's the first thing you say, right? Like, oh, thanks. Well, I put on a little weight, but it's like no one asked about that. Someone just paid you a compliment. And listen, like I'm a horrible compliment taker, so I understand this reflex to like immediately invalidate the nice thing that someone has said about you. Could we please stop that? Can we normalize stopping that? And so this might be something you have to practice of like literally saying thank you and shutting up. I mean, that may sound harsh, but I think for some of us, like that is actually what we need to do when someone says like, you look great, like thanks. And then like ask them a question, right? Like, how's your summer? How are things? Like, just keep it moving. And like get out of that space of like, this person seems to think that I look better than I think I do in my head. How do I prove them wrong and like really help them understand that like I look like crap, right? I mean, like that's like essentially what we're doing when we have these moments, right? Where like we deflect what the compliment was. So like that's my tip for like that self-deprecating talk that comes in, where your first instinct or reflex is to like literally invalidate a compliment. Practice saying thanks or thank you, smiling, and ask them a question, right? If you don't want the attention on yourself, I get it, but the way to do that is just to put it back on them, not by throwing yourself under the bus first. So that is tip number two. And then the last thing that I'll share on this is a lot of this is like mindset, right? But some of it is also style. It's also fit. It's also how you feel in your clothes has such an impact on how you start and live the rest of your day. And I think we undermine that a lot, right? It's like, oh, it's fashion, it's trend, or like, I'm not trendy, or blah, blah. It's like, none of us, to my knowledge, watching this live on like a nudist commune. Like, we all have to actually put clothes on our bodies every day. And it matters. It's a vulnerable process. It's something that, is not always like super comfortable for a lot of us if we haven't found like, the things that fit and flatter us best. So like, I get it, right? But there are, go back and watch some of my lives, like really get into some of the content where you can start to pick up on things that are definitely going to help you. And so what I'll say for this is size up. Just size the F up, please. So a couple things here. One, especially if you're going back to work and your work wardrobe is business casual, you have to size up. Business casual clothing, structured clothing, right? It's more tailored, it's more structured. There is not a lot of stretch. So if you have gained weight, and I don't care if it's, pounds, inches, whatever, sizes, if you feel like you're stuffing yourself into a pair of pants, that is no way to live, and it's no way to start your day. Okay. So please buy the next size up or the next two, whatever you need, so that nothing is like, you shouldn't feel your clothes on your body in a way that's uncomfortable. If you do, something's not right. Either they're not high enough, right? Like up on your waist, maybe again, like that, like muffin top body shape, which is not a body shape. That just means your clothes are too tight in certain places, so change the rise, right? Maybe if you have put on weight in your midsection, you actually might need to get a higher rise pant or jean, which may seem counterintuitive, but you run your hands down your body, there's going to be a place after your bust and down your rib cage going to your stomach where you're smaller. Then you're going to get more full, right, around the midsection, and then start to kind of taper down, like, into your hip bones. Well, if you have pants that used to kind of sort of fit right around the middle, like right around your belly button, and now you're being squeezed, you got to get that rise higher. You have to have the rise come back up to where you're smaller. That's going to be a much more comfortable situation for you, and more flattering as well, because it's going to smooth out your silhouette in here, and that's going to allow for your tops to fit better, right? Like, it's all connected. So size up, please, and thank you. If things are clinging in your midsection, you have two options. Either go very fitted and tuck, which is what I'm doing here, right? I'm not standing up, so things might look like a little wrinkled, but I've got like I can hold on to this situation down here. Sorry for you on Facebook. Like, there's stuff here, right? Like, that's my stomach, not stuff, it's a stomach. And so I have two choices, right? So I can either go really fitted, like the top I'm wearing today. It's a knit tank, one of my favorites from Target. $5, gotta love that. And so if I untuck it and it's over jeans, right, not only do I have my stomach, but then I also have a button, a rivet, belt loops, a zipper, it's there's a lot of texture here. And so for me, tucking means I get a really smooth, clean silhouette here, right up here, right where I'm still, I didn't actually tuck the back in because I didn't think y'all would see all that. But like, I get a smooth, clean silhouette up here. And again, this is where I have a very short torso. But so this is where I'm more narrow, and I purposely have on, a silhouette of jean shorts that's coming up to where I'm at my narrowest. If we scooch this situation down, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with this. I personally don't love this look as much, right? If this is comfortable to you, like, girl, go ahead. Like, nobody's going to stop you, right? But my point here is, if you are someone who's feeling self-conscious about this, about your midsection, tight, tuck, high rise, and you have a whole different situation going on, okay? The other way to do that, if you're not a tucker, I know some of you aren't, I'm coming for you. I'm going to convert you one day. But if you're not a tucker, that's fine. What you want to do is get a shirt that has a straighter silhouette. So if you're doing like a blouse or, kind of that, like the new polyester, right? It's not like itchy or anything. It's just kind of like blouse material. You want to get something that has a straight silhouette, meaning from the from the armpit seams, it should kind of like look like it's going straight down your body. So not out. We're not doing moo-moos. We're not doing trapezes. You don't need to like hide your body. That's not a thing that I believe in. But if you have a straight silhouette, it's going to kind of skim down the sides of your body. And I can still see where you live, where you are in that shirt. But it's not going to cling. But it's also not going to add a ton of volume and make you look larger than you are. So that way, it just kind of comes straight down in that silhouette, and then it'll come, over, kind of the outer part of your hips, your hip bones, and just kind of skim and give you a nice clean silhouette. So those are just a couple of things, even just off the top of my head, especially for the midsection, which I know for a lot of us, when we gain weight, we tend to gain weight there. Y'all can chat me in the comments now before we hop with a little Q&A. If there's anything in particular that you're struggling with as you put on these pandemic pounds and you're outside and seeing people again and trying to figure that out, let me know like what's up for you. And if you're watching this on the replay, I love my replay peeps. Not everyone can join live. Please give me a hashtag replay in the comments before you comment. And that way, when I go through, I can make sure I don't miss anything that you said. Whew. Talking up a storm today. So I did have a couple of pre-submitted. So one question was wide leg pants, and can short people wear them? It's like, this is a great question because the wide leg pants are everywhere. So if you're on the more petite side, you do have to be careful, right? Of like really, really voluminous silhouettes will kind of tend to swallow you up, and I can't see where you are in the clothing. And it's generally just like not as flattering. So you can do a wide leg pant. My advice is to get something that's actually a little bit more on like the flowy side, and see if you can get it cropped. So if I can still see where your ankle is, right, that gives me a sense of where like you are in the pants. And that's going to be a lot better. If you're doing something that's more structured, kind of like a khakis material, then I would not go like wide leg. Try a straight leg. There's tons of that silhouette out right now. Do that. And again, go cropped. Put on a cute little sandal, cute little shoe, and that's going to kind of preserve your lines where I can kind of still see again, like where you are in the clothing without you being all swallowed up. So that's my tip there. Okay. Big girl, small world. Hi, Maria. I'm finding that my challenge is I feel fabulous at home, but less confident once I'm out in public. LOL, I'm working on that though. I know you will get there. I think that's super real, right? Like we've been at home forever. And some of us actually started getting dressed again a while ago, right? Like I started, like when summer came, even like spring, I was like, wait a minute, I like clothes. Let's put on clothes again, right? But there's this interesting performative transaction that happens when we go outside, right? Even if we don't feel like we're performing or getting dressed like for anyone else, we are when we go outside. So I've actually found that I've missed some of that. Maybe I'm like just a closet exhibitionist, like I don't know, but like I've actually missed like going out and like being seen. Even if I'm literally just going to like where, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't go anywhere, but like I've missed some of that of like putting on clothing, knowing it will be seen by someone other than these cats. And, my sister who I live with, right? So like that performative aspect, I think for some of us, like it's a little anxiety producing train or whatever, what have you. And so again, I think for that, some of it's just going to take practice and time. Right. So like I went to Cabo a few weeks ago. I was on a plane. I'm going to have to practice being on planes again. Like people were there. They were close. I was like, okay, we're sharing an armrest. That's your arm. Oh my God, it's a stranger's arm. The arm is warm. What do I do? I mean, like some of this is like, we just, I think, have to give ourselves a break for like, we don't know how to outside anymore. And that's okay. And so I think that some of like the body confidence and just confidence in general of like being a person in the world might take a little bit of time. But I love that question though. And I think like if you're feeling fabulous at home, one of the things that I might do is actually kind of ask yourself, like, what is the fabulosity about, right? Is it a feeling? Is it just like, I'm that girl? Is it like, I love the way I look in this silhouette of dress or pants or whatever, like, I think if you can kind of like tap into it, sometimes if we have an anchor to kind of hang our hat on, it just gives us even more confidence because it feels validated, right? It's like, oh yeah, well, of course I'm fabulous. Like this dress always does wonders for my figure, right? And then you kind of have more than just like this inkling that you feel fabulous. It feels a little bit more like a data point, and you can go on through your day and rock with that. I hope that that is helpful. All right, y'all. Wish me luck in a couple of weeks in New York. I'm like I said, I'm working through my own stuff too, and seeing people I haven't seen in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, etc. And there's just there's a lot more Brandeis to go around. Again, like I understand that I look good, and I say that out loud to you because I want you to say it to yourself, even if you don't believe it every day. But it's still a thing, right? Like, how will people react? Like, is it going to be weird? So I plan to practice what I preach. If someone's like, you look great, I'm just going to be like, thank you. And like, how have you been? Like, or like you too, I mean, you could do whatever you want. So get at those tips. Again, my course, my 4-week program is launching next week. I'm super excited for that. It's called Getting Dressed Again. Hit me up in the DMs if you want more information. I'm happy to send you more information or just let you know when it launches and you can check it out. Okay, y'all, it's been real. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Go out there, live your body confident lives, and I will see you next time. Bye.